Flipping through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory, and dusty words bring pictures to my mind. I see the marks of the passage of time.
Hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of Journaling Through the Years. I hope that you're liking this series. I've been enjoying it, kind of exploring my past and kind of rediscovering who I was and meditating on that and finding healing for myself and being able to unravel that and move forward. So that's been interesting. The first thing I have to say about today's episode and the title, as you've seen in the title, that I'm calling it Welcome to Depression, is content warning, trigger warning. If you have depression, I will post links in the About section and in the comments below of where you can get support, where you can reach out. And please do know that you are loved and that you matter to many and to the world. So if you have any issue that we're going to discuss today in my entries of depression and suicidality, suicide ideation as it's called, please get help. Please check out the links below and know that you're loved. So with that, let's get into it. So we're still in this journal. We've got a lot of entries in this particular one. You can see like there's just like the full pic, like it's just, and we're not going to read all of it at once. So we're going to be in this one for a while. So as I said, this is, well, last week I was writing a journal entry about Matt, and I discussed, this was my sophomore high school boyfriend who looked like Wesley from A Princess Bride. Check that out. You'll see what I mean. So, and then I also said that like an hour after he broke up with me on the phone, I called my best friend crying, and she somehow got my number from him and called him, and they were basically dating like an hour after. So this precipitated my first real bout of depression and suicidal ideation. And so you'll see that recorded in the pages. And so it goes into summer, into June 1995. And I think I might have been actually 16 or 17 at the time, because I was held back here. So I think I was 17, going to go in my junior year of high school. And yeah, it was my first suicidal break. It was my first depression. It was my first kind of the diagnosis with depression. At this point, I did not have the diagnosis of bipolar. I had a misdiagnosis of ADD, attention deficit disorder, and I had was becoming very addicted to Ritalin. Usually a bipolar break or a major mental illness break, mental health condition is not revealed or is not shown until the person's about 18 to 20 years old. And so when I started college is when I started to have some really major manic breaks and depression and like more mood swings. And I didn't really get any help with it or any notice of it until 2006. And so that's when I first got the diagnosis of bipolar type 1. And then it was a long journey since then. And then since just in the last several years, I've now looked at my life and everything and added CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So let's get into it. Colors everywhere, mixing together as one, around, through the vast space of unawareness. I stare at the endless design, following with uncertainty, hoping to understand myself, reaching for discovery inside my deepest thoughts, suddenly knowing, feeling complete, colors stop. I feel lost, empty, and confused. I do not understand this emptiness. I do not understand this emptiness. Where has my friend of many colors gone? Why has it left me with his empty, lonely hearts to fill? How can I fill these hearts when my own heart is empty? I'm going to read that again and take my time with it, and then I want to talk about it a little. Colors everywhere mixing together as one around through the vast space of unawareness. I stare at the endless design, following with uncertainty. Hoping to understand myself, reaching for discovery inside my deepest thoughts, suddenly knowing, feeling complete. Colors stop. I feel lost, empty, and confused. I do not understand this emptiness. Where has my friend of many colors gone? Why has it left me with these empty, lonely hearts to fill? How can I fill these hearts when my own heart is empty? So what this speaks to me is, as I said, I was later diagnosed when I was about 26 with bipolar type 1. And I believe that, like I said, that it doesn't really reveal itself in its fullest major mental health conditions until about 18 to 20, like right after high school, early 20s kind of thing. And yet I believe there was episodes of it, signs of it. I know there were signs of bipolar and PTSD all my life. And I definitely feel like that, the first part of this where I'm talking about colors everywhere mixing together, and it's almost like this kind of manic, everything is wonderful, and then it stops, colors stop. So I'm up on this high, this manic high. I don't even know the word bipolar or manic depression at this point. I'm just writing what's going on in my head. I think that's interesting. So I'm writing about being manic and how that is, and then suddenly dropping and the colors stop. The next thing that I noticed in this is that I'm depressed and that I feel that I'm no use to another person, So it's a sense of PTSD, not PTSD, codependency, and relationship addiction, like wanting to take care of another and not realizing I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of myself. I can't. It says, how can I feel these hearts when my own heart is empty? And that's what I've noticed now, is that it is good to do self-care. It's taken me all this many years to know that I need to do for myself. And that by doing for myself, I am able to give out to another. So that goes into every area of my life, not just spiritual, not just emotional. It also goes into the financial and into the work issue. Taking care of my own shiznit, taking care of my own crap, taking care of my own business, whatever that is, gives me the energy, the ability to take care, to fill another, or to love on another, as it were. Okay, the next one is a poem that I really liked, but I did not write it. I'm just going to skip past it. I have a lot of little quotes here. Sometimes I feel as if life is full of goodbyes. Changes in my heart, changes in my soul, happens every fleeting moment. Not trying to waste precious time, just hanging on to what I've got today. So a lot of sadness there, as you can see, just the sad fact that that you're never gonna get a lot of sadness, a lot of, like, I feel this loss, a lot of the depression is very prevalent to me. So this is May 19th, 1995. The day before yesterday, you left me, feeling lonely, empty, and brokenhearted. Seems like this always happens. Seems like I always say goodbye. Sometimes I feel as if life is full of goodbyes. Once I'm used to something, that's the time I have to leave. Maybe I'm just feeling sorry for myself, looking at the bad instead of the good. If life is full of goodbyes, I guess you have to be happy with what you got today. Hold on to it now. Let it go when it must go. Nothing shall always be with you. Nothing you do can ever make you hold on to someone forever. Nothing will ever be with you longer than a memory. So now I stand alone, with the rain pouring down all over my wet, naked body, mixing with my salty tears, wondering why it had to come to this, wondering why you had to leave me. I look up into the vast gray sky, think to myself, a prayer not for God's ears, not for anyone's ears, but His. I whisper, I love you, dear one, I love you always. Thunder rolls in the faraway distance, taking my love with it. I look down, stare straight away, head my way home. So a couple things on that. I was very obsessed with this idea, like it's almost like this like Celtic kind of Wiccan, like King Arthurian, but not Arthur, his sister, the Wiccan, the pagan. This idea of like the naked body, and the rain's over you. I was like really into that like imagery of like, it wasn't just sexy, it was almost kind of spiritual, like, oh, and I'm crying in the rain, and it was over dramatic and very, very dramatic, very much like like I'd seen the Sense and Sensibility, the movie, the Jane Austen movie, and she's like running in the rain and she's crying and she's looking at the man that she loved and he's gone. And that goes on to the next thought I have. Okay, first of all, a prayer not for God's ears, not for anyone's, but His. So I wasn't religious at this time. I mean, I kind of thought I was Wiccan, but I don't think I really understood that. And I'd studied a lot of different things. I'd studied a little bit of Buddhism, and I was kind of studying astrology and Wiccan, but I didn't really believe or practice anything to that degree because it was kind of not looked upon in a light way, it was kind of looked down upon in my home, any kind of religion. And then not only that, I did have some friends that had taken me to church. I did have some Mormon friends who were encouraging me to kind of come into that world, but I wasn't. But I think it's interesting that because I didn't have that, and I'm not saying that you have to be religious or believe in anything, but I was making my God this man. Now this man, and I wasn't saying anything about the friend. I wasn't feeling my feelings about her betrayal, as I would eventually just welcome her back once they broke up. And I would never, and then years would come where she would kind of follow that similar pattern in different ways, where she would kind of take something from me right before me and then wonder why I was kind of hurt by that and never really see that she had done anything wrong. And it took years until I realized that's a taker, that's a vampire, emotional vampire. I'm not gonna just like, I don't need that person in my life. I don't need that energy. So, but I was making this guy my God. I was looking back at the time he was with me, which it was very short. It's about 3 months. And even in that 3-month period, he was like, he never called, or he'd call like every couple weeks and he'd show up, or he'd be good. We'd be on for like 2 weeks and then he wouldn't call for like a month. And then he'd call suddenly. And it was like, so he wasn't like this hero of mine, but I was looking at those times when he would look at me and I felt his love, his adoration, his admiration, and I felt whole because I was looking to someone else to make me feel good about myself, you know, and I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't have maybe a lot of that ability to find my own acceptance until now. And then that was the only way I kind of found that approval and that and not just from him, not from this boy, but probably from others as well. When people would see me with a boyfriend, it was like a status symbol, and I felt somehow accepted, like I have a boyfriend. So there was that sense of like, now who am I? Now who am I without this boy? Moving right along. There's just I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm just going to do one more today. Yeah. Trigger warning. June 26, 1995. I feel as if I am drowning. The water pulls me down. My body is a heavy weight. Could I possibly disregard it and let it sink to the deep bottom? I cannot, for my body is I, and I am my body. My stomach tightens. I am fearful. I reach out to hold your hand, yet you do not reach back. I know I am the reason for scaring you away, and I would do anything to have you back. I need your friendship. I don't know how I shall go on with these feelings in my heart and these memories in my head. I struggle with my arms paddling fiercely to keep my head above water. My troubles and heart pull me down, down to my doom of despair. I am always to reach up, yet it becomes harder and harder. It's all I can do, not to fall. So that was less of a poem and more of a journal, but it did have a poem-like feel to it. I often say that if past lives exist, then I was Lucy Maud Montgomery in a past life. I won't explain anything, but those who know will know. So I'm going back here a little bit because I want to read something to close out, because this has been kind of deep and heavy and dark, and I don't want to leave on that note. Like I said, if you are someone that struggles with any kind of mental health condition, or someone that has depression, somebody that has suicidal ideation, please know it gets better. Recovery is worth it. It may take a long time. For me, it's been lifelong. I've been in therapy on and off, and I've been in therapy for the last year. Again, so a year and a half, and I'm now dealing with my PTSD issues. And I can tell you that way back in 2006, when I first got the bipolar diagnosis, that was what I focused on, is getting that stable. And now I'm at a point where my moods are stable. I know how to basically keep myself from mania or depression. I still have moments where I get a little manic, or moments when I get a little depressed, but I know how to keep myself, what I need to do to take care of myself. And so please know it gets better, and that you do matter. And please check out the links in the about section, in the comments. If you need help, or if you know someone who does need help, please pass it on to them. Because I don't want in any way to glorify depression or glorify mental health or living in a place of mental unease, because it's not a fun place to be. I've been there, and even though at times it may feel good or you may feel right, it's just not. It's worth it to go through recovery. And I see a lot of this, that not only in my time was I dealing with depression or dealing with having bipolar, but I was also dealing with codependency and relationship addictions. I was looking to another person to save me. And those were the early days. But now what it came to was I was looking to another person to save me. And relationship addictions, like any addiction, when you have an addiction, you rely on that drug to make you feel better, whether it's heroin, cigarettes, alcohol, or another person, or or people. And so I've been working on seeing my friends as humans, as people who I can be in a relationship, a whole relationship with, but first taking the time to care for myself, to whatever, and however that means. For me, it means a lot, like doing things like this, and focusing my energy on creative projects and content, and working out in my garden, and trying to find a way to get a above ground pool set up. That's the big one right now. And just really creating and reading a lot, and investing in healthy relationships, and looking at how does that look to have a healthy friendship. And a lot of that is my being transparent. Are these people willing to be around people that are just as transparent? Are they going to be transparent back to me? And are they going to, communicate with me when I do something wrong? Or can I communicate to them when something happens? And can we work together on that? And so far I've noticed that I have that. And it's a miracle to me. And I'm also very grateful for the friends that have been in my life since I was a baby, that are still here, or the ones since college, or high school, that are still here and still love me and find value to me after who I have been, what I have done due to my illness, the outbursts, and all of that, I am amazed that people still want to hang out with me. I am grateful. Or that they have fond memories of me, even if they're, for some reason, were separated for whatever reason. That they have those fond memories, and I'm grateful. And for all of you out there that are watching that know me personally, whether we're friends or not now, or whether we were somehow some relationship in the past, and that those that are still my friend, that are still in my life, thank you. I can tell you that I am alive today because of your love and your patience with me, and that you have taught me so much about how to be a better person. So I want to close out with this. This is a poem that has always helped me, and it's called Comes the Dawn, and I think I found it at this time in my life in 1995. After a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't mean security. And you begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts, and presents aren't promises. And you begin to accept your defeats with your head up and eyes open, with the grace of a woman, not the grief of a child. And you learn to build all your roads today, because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much. So you plant your gardens and decorate your own soul, instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. And you learn you really can endure, that you really are strong, and you really do have worth. And you learn and learn. With every goodbye, you learn. Thank you for watching. Know that you have value and that you're loved, and recovery is worth it. If you like this video, leave a comment below. Share it out if you feel like it. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and check out our websites. Check out CafeGirl Productions, inc.com, to find out more about CafeGirl. Thank you. Bye.
Patches of living stitched with a common thread. My life's like a quilt that's been sewn together.